the feet as wide as the mat, the knees are bent so those knees can fall in. You're going to take the arms alongside the body so the palms can face up towards the ceiling. Closing the eyes, closing the lips, and just taking a moment to settle into your practice, to arrive, to let go of the day, to let go of any tension, any worries, any to-dos, and just know that right now you're exactly where you need to be. Nothing to do, nowhere to go. Just showing your body, your mind a little bit of kindness for the next hour. Feeling the breath as it enters the nose, into the belly, into the lungs, and feel it slowly leave the body. The gentle rise and fall, the up and down. Maybe you wish to set an intention for your class this evening. That might mean to just leave the mat slightly calmer than when you arrived. Or it may be a certain stretch or posture. But just knowing that right now this is your time. Take the hands onto the belly, the eyes remaining closed. And the breath you've got in the belly and the lungs now, just sigh it all out, all the way to the bottom, drawing the belly button in. And then taking a big inhale through the nose, filling the belly, filling the lungs, feeling the hands rise. And then exhale all the way out. Push all that air, all that oxygen out of the nose, out of the body. Again, inhaling, filling the belly like a balloon. And then exhaling all the way out. So breathing the full breath. Just taking a few more rounds like this. Trying to breathe to the full capacity of the lungs. And then empty them all the way down to the bottom. At the end of your next exhale, just slowly release the arms alongside the body. Lengthen the legs out nice and long. Palms still facing up towards the ceiling. Allow the toes to fall out. The hips to be open. Just feel that warmth as it wraps the knees. That coolness over the hips. And still that full breath. Nice and gently, we're going to draw the right knee in towards the body, so the right knee coming into the chest, interlacing the fingers together and taking the knee just under the kneecap. We're going to flex the left leg, the left foot, the leg that's alongside the mat, and then draw the right knee towards the right armpit, the right shoulder. Anchoring down through the left leg, compressing the right hip, the right knee joint, compressing the knuckles, the fingers, and then maybe the elbows drawing into the rib cage so you get that isometric hold through the biceps, that bicep curl of the leg. Just compressing the ascending colon, but most importantly that hip joint. Compressing the muscles, the internal organs. Just increasing the blood flow to that area. We'll take a few more moments here, just gently drawing the knee in with every exhale. Checking that you're long through the spine, through the back of the neck. Keeping that breath rolling through the inhale and the exhale. Staying here a little longer if you wish, or guiding the right knee across the body into a spinal twist so the knee comes down to the side as you lengthen the right arm away, turning the head towards the right. If you want to, you can place the left hand on top of the thigh just to guide the knee down. As we come into the posture, just come into about 70% of your depth. No pushing, no pulling. And that other 30%, we work with the breath. So filling on the inhale, and then letting go on the exhale. Allowing gravity to do that extra 30% for you. Allow the knee to make its way down towards the floor. If it doesn't find the floor, that's okay. Remember, you've got your pillows, your props around you if you need to bring that floor closer to your body. Just stretching through the belly, through the chest, through the lower back. If you do tend to get any pins and needles in this posture, I suggest just easing out slowly. Again, using those props, those blocks or pillows. I'll take a few more breaths here, finding that sense of letting go, of dropping, of releasing all that tension. After your next exhale, draw the right knee into the body so you can roll onto the back. We're going to come into a glute stretch, so bending the left leg so the sole of the foot finds the floor. Cross the right ankle over the left knee. And then without using the hands, try and push that right knee as far away from you as you can. Maybe flexing the right foot. So you get that little stretch through the hip joint. This may be enough for you this evening, so please feel free to stay here. If you wish to get a bit deeper into the glute, then take the left foot off the floor, bringing both knees in towards the body. The right hand goes through the hole as the left meets it on the other side. You can either go on top of the shin or on top of the hamstring, so in between the calf and the thigh. Drawing that left knee towards the body. But then also pushing the right knee away. So you've got those two opposing forces, pulling the left, but then pushing the right. You can use your elbow if you need to, just to give a little helping hand. And then check in with the rest of the body. Is the spine long? Is the chin down? The face relaxed? The toes relaxed on the left foot? I'll take 2 more breaths here. So gently guiding that leg a little closer if you need to. Getting deep into that right glute. So again, compressing those finger joints. After the second exhale, release the hands. Sole of the foot finds the floor. Lengthen the right leg away so the heel finds the mat. That right leg is our anchor now, and then we draw the left knee in. Same thing on the other side. Interlacing the fingers, taking the knee just under the kneecap, and then drawing that knee all the way over to the left-hand side. You're trying to take that knee up into the armpit, grounding down through the right leg, flexing the foot. Trying to draw the back of the right knee into the floor, maybe even the hamstring. Elbows drawing into that rib cage. Feel that contraction through the bicep as you draw the knee in towards that shoulder. Compressing the descending colon on this side, the hip joint, maybe even massaging the lower back. Relax the face, relax the shoulders. 2 more breaths here. Compressing the knee, the hip, the knuckles, the fingers. When you're ready, guiding that left knee across the body, down to the right hand side. This time the left arm reaching away, turning the head. The eyes remaining closed. The eyes can stay closed for the whole of this practice if you wish. Shoulders dropping into the mat. If you need a block or a bolster or a cushion under the knee, you can do. Remember, this evening is all about supporting the body. Being kind and moving slowly. Returning back to that breath if you've forgotten. Filling the belly all the way to the top. And then emptying it all the way down to the bottom. Few more moments here. Trying to really let go, giving into that pull of gravity. Nice and slowly draw the knee into the chest. Roll onto the back. Bend the right leg so the sole of the foot finds the floor. Our glute stretch on the other side. So the left ankle over the right knee. Flex the foot. Without using the hands, press the left knee far away from the body so you get the stretch into the hip. Chin tucked, option to stay here or to float the right foot off. This time the left hand goes through the hole, the right meets it on the other side. Interlacing those fingers. Maybe pressing the fingertips into that space behind the knuckles, those acupressure points. Then like we just did in that compression pose, drawing that right knee in towards the body. Pressing the left knee away from the body, working with those opposing forces. Noticing that deeper stretch you get within the left joint. Relaxing the face, relaxing the shoulders. Maybe with every exhale, coming a little deeper into that stretch. Two more breaths, so coming as far as you wish, as far as you need to. And then slowly letting go of that right leg. Sole of the foot finds the floor. The left sole of the foot finds the floor too. Reach the arms above the head. Draw the belly in, lengthen the legs away. And just take a nice big inhale as you stretch the arms away from the body, the legs away from the body, as if you're waking up in the morning. As you exhale, relax the arms, roll onto the left-hand side and just take a moment there. So try to keep those eyes closed. If you need to open them for any reason, please do. And then nice and slowly, when you feel ready to, coming onto the bottom. If you need to sit on a block or a bolster or a cushion, please do. We don't want to spend too long here. But coming into a cross-legged position, but this time, instead of crossing one leg on top of the other, you're going to take one in front. So both outside of the ankles find the floor. If that doesn't make sense or it's not comfortable, don't worry. We're just going to take a little fold forward. So the hands reach out in front of you. If you can come onto the forearms, great. Again, if you need your blocks, that's fine. But just dropping the head. Connecting the sitting bones into the floor. And all we're doing is just folding forward. Don't worry how deep you are or how far away you are from the floor. Just go to a place where you feel the posture, where you feel the benefits. Allow the head to be heavy. And revisit those full breaths again and see what it's like to breathe the top of the lungs as we are seated, folded forward. If you are on the forearms, then maybe see if you can reach the arms a little further, maybe the forehead finding the mat or the floor in front of you. If you're on your blocks, just try and work on dropping into the floor. Two more breaths here. And then slowly walking those hands back towards the legs. We're going to take the left hand into the floor, the right arm reaches up and over if you can, keeping those eyes closed. Coming into that opening of the side body. If you can, maybe coming down onto the forearm. Remember you have all those blocks if you need them. Turning the face, the chest up towards the ceiling. Pressing the right sitting bone down into the floor, we'll take one inhale through the nose. Sigh it out to the mouth. And then slowly inhale, cartwheel over to the other side. So the right hand finds the floor, the left arm goes up and over. Turning the chest, the face up to the ceiling. And maybe the elbow finds the floor. Trying to shine the chest up towards the ceiling. Relax the head. Bring that stretch through the lower back, the side of the body, the rib cage. Take the inhale through the nose. Exhale out to the mouth. Inhale, come through center. We're going to take the legs out, soles of the feet coming into the floor. We're going to push ourselves into Malasana. So our yogic squat, the feet are nice and wide, toes are going out. The hands come together as the elbows press to the inside of the knees. Once you're there, close the eyes. Grounding down through the feet, through the tailbone. Try and rise tall through the crown of the head. And if this is really uncomfortable for you, then that's okay. You can sit back down on your bottom and maybe go for a straddle, but we're just going to be here for about 5 or 6 breaths. Trying to lift the chest wherever you are. If you need to pop some blocks or books under the heels, you can. Or maybe taking the legs just a little bit wider to help the hips out. We've got another 3 breaths here, trying to lengthen through the crown of the head. If you want to, you can take a little bit of movement from side to side. One more breath. At the end of the exhale, with the eyes still closed, the hands find the floor as the bottom goes up towards the ceiling. Bringing the heels and toes underneath the hips, so coming into a forward fold, standing forward fold. Soften through the legs if you need to. To begin with, we'll take hold of opposite elbow and opposite hand. Just have a little swing from side to side, so finding that ragdoll. We will be here for a little bit longer than normal, so if you know that you need your blocks or something to bring the floor closer, then make sure you've got hold of it. But try and relax the head. If you were to open the eyes, the gaze will be going between the knees. Just that little rock from side to side. In the spine as it drops away from the body, that space between the vertebrae. And either keeping hold of the elbows if you find this more comfortable, or you can release the hands, maybe taking the fingertips onto the floor, or the backs of the hands, or onto your blocks. But again, we're just going to be here for a little bit of time. We don't get to spend that much time like this. It's really good just to use the weight of the body to stretch the backs of the legs. Checking that the weight is going through the balls of the feet, so that weight is forward. But the heels are still connected to the mat. Coming back to that breath, always coming back to the breath. When you find the mind is wandering, just focus again on the inhale and the exhale. Filling the lungs to the top and emptying them to the bottom. And there's no right or wrong with yoga. I know we do different types of breathing, but this evening, if you prefer to breathe in through the nose and out through the mouth for all your breaths, then please do. If you like that extra challenge of just breathing through the nose, then feel free to find that Ujjayi breath. Just 4 more breaths here, really dropping into the floor. Maybe feeling that floor get a little closer. The body get a little heavier. And we always have that option to bend the knees. Sometimes we get a little bit deeper by bending the knees, especially if you've got quite open hamstrings already. 1 more breath. With the eyes remaining closed, bend the knees. You can place the hands on the floor, taking the feet back so you can bring the knees down into the mat, untucking the toes back to child's pose so the knees are wide. As the arms reach out in front of you, release the forehead down into the mat. Child's pose, posture of safety, of reflection, also of calm. So the extension through the spine, the opening of the hips. If you're lucky enough to get the forehead on the floor, that pressure through the acupressure point between the eyebrows, third eye space, that just relaxes the central nervous system. Knowing that you can come back to this posture at any time. With the eyes still closed, making your way out to tabletop, so the shoulders coming over the wrists, the knees coming under the hips. And it's just going to stay on the tops of the feet. Pressing through the index finger and the thumb, begin to inhale, lift the chest, shine the face up towards the ceiling, eyes remaining closed. Exhale, tuck under the tailbone, squeeze the bottom, draw the belly in towards the spine, press the floor away as you draw the chin to the chest. Again, inhaling, lifting the bottom. Just undulating through the spine as you lift the chest up towards the ceiling, shining the face, eyes remain closed. And then exhaling. Cat spine, press the floor away. Spread the shoulders, feel the stretch through the thoracic spine, so between the shoulder blades. We'll go again, just a few more, just getting a bit of movement into the spine, moving at your own pace with your breath. Making sure you get to each end of the movement. Exhaling, cat spine. And then just doing 2 more at your own pace again. So don't worry if you want to do 3 or you just want to do 1, or you don't want to do them at all. This practice is totally personal to you. No one can see you. Just doing what you need to do. When you're done, just returning back to tabletop. Having a nice long line from the crown of the head all the way down to the bottom. Slowly take those knees back just an inch. And we're going to take the right foot, so we step it to the outside of the right hand into lizard pose. So if you need any blocks, I just suggest that you have them close by. Grounding down through all 4 corners of the right foot. And this is where you can make this posture as deep as you want to. So you can stay here on the hands, if that's enough, from that tabletop position. Or you can move that back knee a little further away from the hips, just so you're dropping the hips a bit closer to the floor. Or there's a third option of slowly making your way down onto your forearms. Wherever you are, just allowing the head to be heavy. If you need blocks, then you can just place them underneath the forearms if that's where you're going. But trying to stay grounded through all 4 points of that right foot. So we're not looking at opening the hip out. Trying to keep that knee shining up towards the ceiling as the head relaxes. Again, don't worry about what anybody else is doing. It's your practice, your body. So breathing that full breath. Just feeling the support of the earth beneath you. Yeah, that's always got you, it's always there. And we will stay a little longer here than normal. But don't feel like you've committed to the pose. So if anything feels uncomfortable or you feel like you're holding tension in the shoulders, then just take it back a step. Maybe every now and then as you exhale, letting go. And then check you're not pressing out through the belly muscles, so either the belly button's pulling in or it's totally relaxed. Every now and then just checking in with that right foot, checking that the toes not lifted off the floor. And the ankle is nice and stacked. We'll take another 3 breaths here. And then if you're on the forearms, just slowly coming up onto the hands or onto your blocks. You have that option to stay here, or you're going to take a little twist by bringing the left leg, the left heel in towards the bottom. The right hand goes behind, you draw the heel in towards the glute, lifting the chest to twist up towards the ceiling. If that is uncomfortable for the knee, then feel free to pad it out. Or if you can't quite get hold of the foot, then you have a strap or a dressing gown cord just to draw that heel towards the bottom. Still keeping that weight going forward, the hips dropping down. Won't spend too long here, I promise. We'll take 2 more breaths. Really dropping down into the earth, down into the mat. If you have hold of the foot or a strap, just slowly letting it go. Both hands coming into the floor. Step the right knee back to the left. Bottom comes to the heels back to child's pose. So feel all that warmth in the hips. That stretch through the lower back. Maybe just relax the arms so the elbows find the floor. Coming into our rebound posture. If you need to spend a little longer here, then please do. If not, coming back to that tabletop position. The left sole of the foot this time coming to the outside of the left hand. So just do the same thing on the other side. You need to have a little wiggle, you can. Or maybe edge that right knee a little further back. Now you know how long we're here for. Maybe you want to take it in stages and staggers. Allow that head to be heavy. Grounding down through all 4 points of that left foot, so the big toe, the baby toe, and both corners of the heel. If that floor is calling you, then maybe coming down onto the forearms, allowing the head to be heavy, the belly to be relaxed. This is a great time just to notice if there's any differences from the left side to the right side. One felt slightly tighter than the other, or if they just feel different. Know that that's normal, that's okay. I wouldn't necessarily recommend stretching one side more than the other. Just accept that they're different and then know that that's okay. Remember, you don't have to commit to certain depths of the posture. We're trying to come to 70% of our maximum and then allowing that breath, the gravity, just to guide us deeper. If you go too deep at any point, then you can retract back. Trying your best to stay with the posture, to stay with the breath. And every now and then, just doing a really loud, really big exhale. So that breath with purpose, that letting go, maybe a sigh. Relaxing the shoulders, relaxing the face. Try and rid the body of any unnecessary tension. We'll spend 3 more breaths here. Maybe you're taking a lean towards the left or moving yourself slightly closer to that left leg. In a lot of stretches, we tend to reach away from the stretch because sometimes it's a little too deep. After that third exhale, coming onto the hands nice and slowly. That option to stay here or to bend the back leg, the heel coming to the bottom. As the left hand goes behind, draw the heel in towards the glute, twisting the chest up towards the ceiling. And just checking that you're not on the knee, so you should be on that front of the thigh, the quadricep. If it is a bit bony for you, then you can double up the mat or pop your cushion under there. And again, if you need to, you've got a strap or a towel or anything you can lasso the foot with. But remember, this isn't necessary, it's just to get a bit deeper. If you feel you want to get deeper into the hips, the quadriceps. Try to lift the chest, we'll take 2 more breaths. You have hold of the foot, slowly letting it go. Bringing the hand into the floor, stepping the left knee back to the right, the bottom comes to the heels, back to child's pose. So our rebound posture, compressing the joint we've just stretched. Sending blood, oxygen, nutrients, what it needs to recover. The way we get more flexible is exactly the same as the way we get stronger. That progressive overload, but also that rest and recovery. Relaxing the elbows, Relaxing the forehead. We'll take 2 more breaths here. And then coming back out to your tabletop. Moving into a pigeon this time. So we're going to take the right knee to the right wrist. Make sure the calf, the shin is in front of the pelvis. And then tuck under the back toes, and just slowly make your way away from that right knee. You want the knee in line or just on the outside of the right hip, so it comes across the body. And then we're up on the palms, pigeon. So if you've done my classes before, you'll know what I'm on about. If not, I'll try my best to walk you through it. So just making sure the knee is on the outside of the body and the right heel is in line with the left hip. Good, so don't worry, it doesn't have to be in line with the knee, it can be back towards the pelvis. I'm just going to spend 2 breaths up here on the hands, so just close the eyes. It's really important here that we're trying to stretch the hips as opposed to the knee joint. So if this is where you stay, that's fine. You need to pop some blocks underneath the right glute, then do so. But just making sure we feel no pain in the knee. If you do, just slowly retract back. Either staying here or making your way down onto your forearms. Still trying to push that left hip down to the mat. And try and refrain from sitting on that right hip. So you're trying to shine the left hip down towards the floor. If you're on the forearms, and again the floor is calling you, maybe take the forehead down into the mat. We'll take a nice big inhale together through the nose. Sigh it out to the mouth. And then just return back to normal breathing. That full inhale and that full exhale. Know that if any frustrations or irritation comes with this posture, that's okay, that's normal. Pigeon is probably the least liked yoga pose. So it's okay to be uncomfortable. But just know the difference between that discomfort and pain. The same with anybody who does strength training. You progress when you get uncomfortable. But know to stop before you reach pain. So to modify if you need, to use your blocks and to use the breath. Allow the head to be heavy. We're about halfway through here. If you need a cushion for the head or for the bottom, then feel free to grab it. I'm just going to offer up a variation for those who feel they have a little more to go on this posture. So if you want to take Sleeping Swan, then reach the right arm out in front of you. The left hand goes through the hole as you come onto the left shoulder, the left side of the face as the head finds the floor. So just working deeper into that glute if you need to. Again, know that everybody is different, that this may be painful or uncomfortable or not for you, and know that that's okay. We've got 3 more breaths here. But trying your best to stay within the posture. And that stretch as it makes its way into the back. That the end of your third exhale. If you've threaded through to your sleeping swan, just coming back through the thread, both hands finding the floor wherever you are. Take a moment here with the chest lifted. Tuck under the back toes as you move that knee a little closer towards the body, taking the right knee back to child's pose, moving nice and slowly, gently. Elbows relaxed, forehead finding the floor. Feel that openness through the hips again, all that heat in the right hip. If you need to have a wiggle or find some movement, then do whatever feels good. Moving on to the other side, so coming back out to tabletop. Hands underneath the shoulders. The left knee this time is going to come up to the left wrist as we bring the shin in front of the pelvis and then move the body behind the calf. Again, just checking that knee is either in line or on the outside of the left hip. We're nice and lifted to begin with. And we're not sitting on the left glute. If you do find that you are, then maybe grab a block just to lift you up a little higher. Take a few moments here, just checking in with the body, noticing if the knee feels okay. If this does hurt the knees a little too much, then feel free to resort back to that glute stretch that we did on our backs. So it's just a reverse pigeon. If you can, keeping that left foot flexed. But again, just knowing that that's just an option to make it a little harder. Either staying here on the hands or making that journey down towards the floor, onto the forearms. Releasing the head wherever you are. Allowing any frustrations, any limitations to just fizzle away. Allow the breath to take you that little bit deeper. Maybe staying on the forearms or opening them to the side so the forehead or the side of the face finds the floor. And trying to relax the body. Relax the face. Just feel the softness of the posture. I understand that this can be really difficult for some people. When you're in pigeon, sometimes it just feels as if your body is screaming. So I suggest just find a variation that's good for you. Again, work through that progressive overload. Try and allow the head to be heavy, the neck to be relaxed. Just halfway through on this side. You have that option to take it further if you wish. So taking that left hand this time out in front of you. The right hand goes through the hole as the shoulder, the side of the face finds the floor. Into sleeping swan. Try to relax that left arm. And feel that stretch a little bit deeper into the glutes. If you need a little cushion for your head, then feel free to pop it under there. We'll just spend about 4 breaths here, being mindful of the knee. You should only feel the stretch in the lower back, the glutes, the hamstring. But it's definitely not the knee. If you do, you just take that step back. After your 4th breath, slowly unthreading the right arm, making your way back to meet our friends on their hands. Lifting the chest, we'll spend 1 moment here. Really grounding down the hips, and again, just seeing how this felt when you first came into the posture. Slowly tucking under the back toes of the right leg to lift the knee. Bring it a little bit closer as you take the left knee back to child's pose. Forehead finds the floor. Elbows find the floor. Head is heavy. Again, feel that warmth in the left glutes, the left hip. And then if you can, with the eyes closed, just take both feet to the left as the bottom finds the floor to the right, swinging the legs out in front of you into our staff pose, so to sit on the bottom. We're going to draw the right leg in so the sole of the foot comes between the pelvis and the knee. The knee finding the floor. If you need to, you can sit on your block or on your cushion. We're going to flex the foot, lift the chest. Take a nice big inhale as you extend through the crown of the head. And then slowly exhale, take the chest down towards the thigh. Reaching the arms out in front of you, don't worry if you don't get very far. But then either allowing the arms to relax either side of the leg or taking hold of the foot. Keeping the chest lifted, the spine long. We'll take 2 breaths here. And then after your exhale, allow the head to just curve down towards the leg. So that might find your knee, it might not. If not, you have a block, feel free to just pop it under your forehead. Just so you can completely relax. If you don't have any props, just allow it to hang. Really grounding deep down, throw through the right knee. If you need to bend the left leg, you can. Finding what suits you, what suits your body tonight, now at this moment. We're about halfway through here. So if you do need to make those adjustments, then please do. Relaxing the face. Bring that stretch maybe into the lower back as well as the hamstring. We have 3 more breaths. If you are really flexible and you're starting to feel this behind the knee, see what it's like to bend the knee. You have hold of the foot, releasing the fingers, eyes remain closed as you walk yourself back. But just simply swapping over to the other side, so lengthening the right leg, bringing the left sole of the foot to the inside of the right thigh, hands either side of the leg if you need your blocks and they're there, and lifting the chest, taking a nice big inhale. And then exhaling, trying to send that chest forward towards the knee, keeping the head lifted for now. And trying to push that knee down to the floor. Don't worry if it doesn't get there. Again, you have little blocks or things that you can put underneath it. Or just know that it will come with time. Yoga is a practice, and there's a reason that all the best teachers are really, really old. When you're ready, just curving down towards the knee. Allow the forehead to maybe find the knee or a block, or the head can hang nice and heavy. Maybe holding the ankle or holding the foot, interlacing the fingers. We'll spend a little time here with our right leg. Try and keep that left sitting bone grounding down into the floor, just so you get stretched through the lower back. Again, if you start to feel this behind the knee, then slightly bend the knee, getting into the belly of the muscle rather than the ligaments. Relax the face. And make that comparison between the other side. Is this side harder or easier? Is there less or more space? But try to rid any emotional attachment to those hamstrings. So don't get angry. If you can't get as far down as you wish, don't worry, it's just a stretch. It's all about what you get from it. One more moment here. And then letting go of that leg as you slowly roll up. Both legs come out in front of you this time. And we're just going to take a simple fold forward, but again, trying to keep that nice length through the spine. So lifting up through the chest, feet flexed, and then folding forward. When you're there, allow the head to be heavy. Maybe the spine to curve. And either having a block between the legs so the forehead finds the block, or maybe it finds the knees. The legs can be as wide or as close together as you need. We'll just take 5 breaths here. Feeling that stretch into the lower back. Maybe through the upper back as well as you curve. Finding that sense of letting go. Letting go of tension and letting go of judgment. So judgment towards the pose, the practice, the stretch. Know that there's no good or bad at yoga. We're all here just to show our body a little bit of love, a little bit of kindness. And that includes in our mind. The body hears what the mind thinks. Slowly begin to roll up through the spine. Keep the eyes closed. If you have a bolster, a pillow, or anything you can put just between the lower back and the upper back, then make sure you have it. If not, don't worry. You're just going to slowly guide yourself onto your back. So the back coming onto the bolster, the legs going out as wide as the mat. And the back to the hands into the floor so the palms are open. Don't worry if you don't have a bolster or a cushion, you can just come onto your back. Just finding somewhere that is comfortable for you. This added extra of having the chest elevated means you just get a stretch through the shoulders, through the front of the body. eyes closed. We'll just take a few moments here to let go, to give back to the earth what we take, to give in to that pull of gravity. So allow ourselves to be held, to be supported, to be open. Feel the inhale as it rises through the body, and the exhale as it leaves, surrendering yourself to your Shavasana. And if the mind wanders, just following that breath, I am going to give you just a minute or so of silence. But don't worry if everything goes quiet. Just allow all the sensations from your practice to wash over the body. If you wish to stay here a little longer, then please do. There's no rush to return back. I always think you should spend as long as you can in Shavasana. If you're ready to move, take a nice big inhale through the nose. Sigh it out to the mouth. And wherever you are, just beginning to bring a little bit of movement back to the fingers and toes. If you're on a bolster or cushion, just slowly removing it from the back, taking it to the side, so we can all move onto the right-hand side of the body. Just rolling onto the side, eyes remain closed. Pausing here for a moment. In support, the comfort of this posture, of this pose. Allow the heart rate, the blood pressure to return back to normal. And then when you feel ready to, eyes remaining closed, coming into a comfortable seated position again. So maybe crossing the legs the opposite way around this time. And just taking the backs of the hands into the knees so the palms can face up towards the ceiling. Rising tall through the crown of the head. Grounding down through the sit bones, the tailbone. Creating all that space between the earth and the sky. All that space in the body. That space in the mind. Just taking this moment to thank yourselves for turning up this evening. For showing your body just that little bit of love, that little bit of kindness. Take one last inhale together through the nose. And then sigh it out to the mouth. Let it go. Bringing the hands together in front of the body, rubbing them nice and quickly till you find as much heat as you feel you need. When you've got a bit of warmth there, place the hands in front of the eyes and allow the eyes to slowly open. Adjusting to the light and then bringing the hands to prayer. Namaste. Thank you very much. Feel free to disappear if you don't want to stay and chat. If you do, feel free to stay. You're always welcome to drop me a message or an email. As always, thank you very much for joining me, and hopefully I'll see you all next week.